Hello, everyone. This is Ed Buskirk from the DisneyMovieDatabase.com and the Disney Movie Review Podcast. I just wanted to take a quick moment and wish all of my friends and tour guides over at the Grand Circle Tour Podcast a heartfelt and warm congratulations on the first full year of podcasting. It's been a great ride so far, guys. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to hear more.
The Disneyland Limited, now leaving for a Grand Circle tour of the Magic Kingdom. All passengers board.
Star Tours announces the boarding of the Endor Express. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door.
Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I am Sam, the American Eagle, and I am proud to introduce the Grand Circle Tour Podcast, a celebration of Disney parks, but mostly the American ones. I really like these guys.
Hello, passengers. Welcome to this week's episode number 54 on the Grand Circle Tour Podcast. This is Mindy, and this week's host as your VIP tour guide at the Disneyland Park. So put your magical pin on, no videos in Walt's apartment, and have a plenty of fun and lots of Walt history. So let's go. So I have a few of my amazing friends with me tonight. I have George. What's up, George?
Hey, Mindy, what's up?
It's been a busy week, for sure.
Yes, definitely. A lot going on.
Yeah, what's up with you? What's going on in your world?
What's up with me? Well, nothing really too relevant, but I went down to try to get tickets for Dumbo ahead of time, and I waited in line, and I thought, oh, well, the early bird gets the worm and everything, and it turns out that I was a week too early.
Oh, what happened?
So the way my movie theater is, it's completely random. It goes by the anticipation of how well they think the movie is going to do during opening weekend.
Uh-huh.
And depending on those rates, that's what depicts how fast you can get tickets early enough ahead of time. So I guess apparently they feel Dumbo's going to do good, but maybe not as good as other movies.
Really? I'm surprised at that because I am looking so forward to Dumbo. I'm excited to see how, I'm not a huge fan of the director. I am just truly not. But just because he's made some really weird movies and I'm not a huge fan, but this one looks absolutely amazing. I am thrilled and I cannot wait to see it.
And I could be wrong, but just based on the previews, it sort of kind of looks like he went out of his element, sort of.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm very curious.
Yeah.
What he's done with
like, I don't know about you, but the worst movie, and I know it's off on a tangent, but he butchered one of my all-time favorite classic movies of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that one I can't even get through. It's so bad. So bad. I know, passengers, if you don't agree, don't at me, but I just think that. So you're right, it was totally out of his element, but I'm excited. So anyhow, we have another amazing friend of mine, and that is Stan Solo. Stan, what's up with you this week?
Hey, Mindy, I am great. Waltz up with me. Actually, before I get into my waltz up, which is actually Dumbo anyways, we're having a meetup in the Winnipeg area at the movie theater before Dumbo airs. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the Winnipeg area, and that will be next Sunday, the Sunday following the Friday premiere, you can pop by the Grant Park Cinemas, and we're going to have a Winnipeg Disney fans meetup there. So that's my waltz up. Just want to touch a bit about, you mentioned how Tim Burton ruined your classic Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You didn't lose Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You can still go back and watch it, That's the thing that always kind of makes me Are you serious when people say that this movie ruined the other movie? It doesn't affect the other movie. You can still
No,
watch it.
you're right. I just can't watch the new one because
Yeah.
he tried to, the people do revamps of old films and, like this with Dumbo. And this, it looks like he knocked it out of the ballpark. But when people try to redo movies, you're right. The other one's still there.
Yeah.
But
Like, you know,
younger generations watch it and that's what they know. And it's so wrong. It's an abomination.
Yeah, but there's so many movies that are like that. You can see it with Herbie Fully Loaded. You can see it with the live action Cinderella or any of the live action movies that are out. And if you don't appreciate them, you can still go back and watch the originals.
Of course. Yeah. Well, that's a great waltz up. It sounds like a lot of us are thinking of Dumbo coming up. My waltz up was a little bit different. I worked on my D23 costume. And I'm really excited the way it's turning out. I was able to find a legit vintage pattern for the skirt, and it's really turning out well. I've got all the pieces to it. I just have to put it together. So, and I am going as none other than a VIP tour guide. I think Jay got us. He ordered one for him, but like I don't know where he got it, but it's a name badge, like your cast member name badge that's engraved with your name. So that was kind of the cherry on top of it, and I'm really excited to see that. But I also found a D pin for it, like the hostess pin, and it's even gold down to the D letter. So it's going to be great. You guys have to follow. I'll post when it's getting a little closer, because now it just looks like plaid, but I'll put it on the page so you guys can follow along with the progress. Anyhow, friends of mine, this is going to be a fun episode. I have my friends here, George and Stan, and we got to thinking, like, what are we going to talk about tonight? What's tonight's topic? So we thought, you know what? Let's talk about attractions that we're afraid to go on, that we avoid, or that ones that we've never done or never will do. And this is one of those topics where you really delve in and talk about the whys and the whats and our fears and our don't likes. So passengers, you're really going to get to know us on this a little bit more on a personal level. And so we're going to go through all the parks, and we're going to start on the east side, and that's at Walt Disney World. So Stan, Magic Kingdom is very, very large, as we know. And it's full of fantasy and adventure and, Tomorrowland. So which attraction at Magic Kingdom, or attractions, as in Stan's case, he says he has pages written down. So we're excited to hear from him. What attractions are you afraid to go on or avoid at Magic Kingdom?
Okay, I have a very sensitive motion issue. So virtual rides, I have a hard time doing. Anything that drops, anything that spins, anything that swings. Pushing my children on the swing set when they were younger made me nauseous. Just watching them going back and forth made me nauseous. So I have to be very careful. And the fear comes from, I'm afraid of actually getting sick and having a protein spill on these attractions. Little bit of history. I did an attraction that was very similar to Star Tours in the West Edmonton Mall, and I actually got really sick to my stomach. And I was sick for a day and a half from just doing that one attraction. So it is. So
it does more than just, I don't want to go in it, I don't like fast rides. It actually physically does something to you to where you're sick.
Yeah. When we get to Hollywood Studios, I'll tell you the story of Star Tours, because I did do Star Tours after this experience on this attraction that's similar to Star Tours in the mall. And it wasn't a pleasant experience, but I did survive. So we're on Magic Kingdom. So let's start off. I went by land in Disneyland because, like I said, I do have a list. So I started off in Adventureland. And the Magic Carpets of Aladdin is one that I've never done, and I probably would survive it, but I just have no interest in doing it. I've never done any of the spinning rides at any of the Disney parks, including Dumbo, including Astro Orbiter, And I think of the 3, Dumbo, Astro Orbiter, and Magic Carpets Aladdin, I think Dumbo would be the one I would try, but I haven't tried any of them. And I really don't have any desire to try any of them.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's because you're afraid it's going to make you sick from the spinning. Now, is there a medication that you can take to help with that? Have you thought about the patches or, some type of pressure pointing?
Yeah, I do take the patches when I go on a cruise, and they seem to work on the cruise ships just fine.
So you don't get sick on cruise ships, but you do on a trip?
I use a patch the entire time I'm on the ship. I put it on before I'm on the ship, and actually I was on one cruise ship where it was very rocky, and we were at the live theater, and they have the big curtains, and the performers were performing. All I could see in my vision was these curtains rocking back and forth, those giant curtains that go from the ceiling all the way to the stage. Right. They were rocking back and forth, and I was rocking back and forth with them, and I had to go back to my room. And I went back to my room, and I went to sleep. I woke up and my patch was gone.
Oh, no.
I looked all over in my bed. I couldn't find the patch anywhere. So I'm thinking I lost it somewhere before I went to the theater even. That might have been what caused the motion sickness happening in the theater. So I had extra patches. I put a patch on. Yeah. It was day 1 on the cruise ship.
Oh, man.
And the rest of the trip, I was fine. So the patches do work. But honestly, I don't have much desire to ride Dumbo or Magic Carpets of Aladdin or Astro Orbiter. Sure. So let someone else have the fun. I mean, I see little kids riding them, and it's like great for them. They seem to really enjoy it, but I just can't get into it. Then if you want to move into Frontierland, Big Thunder Mountain, I've never done. Really don't have much desire to. I'm not a roller coaster person at all. Splash Mountain is one of those I really wanted to try because it looks very like a slow ride for the most part. So I have done Splash Mountain, and the drop didn't knock me out, but it wasn't fun. And I'll probably never do it again.
It's not fun for anybody, but you do it because you just hold your breath for those 2 seconds and it's over.
But why put the drop in there? I don't understand that.
Because that's the funnest part of the whole attraction.
Oh my, I don't need that. I don't need that fun in my life.
That people go on that to get soaked, and I think that's a huge attraction.
I just don't appreciate the drop. I'd rather just not do the attraction than the drop.
Understandable.
Yeah. So you want me to move on, or do you want to go to George and come back to me, or should I just keep going?
We'll just keep going and come to George, and he can do Magic
Kingdom. Okay, so Fantasyland, surprisingly, is the land where there's the most attractions, which I have never done or probably won't do. Dumbo Flying Elephant, I've never done, probably never will. I mean, and I'm sure I can. I don't think I would get sick. It seems to move slowly enough that I'd be fine. Mad Tea Party is a nightmare to me. I can't do that one. I look at those people spinning around, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm surviving that. And Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, I've done it twice, and I just don't appreciate it. It's just not my bag. It's not my thing. I'd rather spend time taking pictures of trash cans or something than riding Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And the Barnstormer featuring the Great Goofini, I've only ridden it once. The cast member put me in the front row, and I actually videotaped it when because I was in the front row. I said, I'm going to record this. So I took out my camera and I videotaped it. And throughout the entire video, I'm screaming like a little girl.
You throwing up in that?
I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick or anything, but it was okay. I survived. I wanted to get a T-shirt after saying I survived the Barnstormer featuring the Great.
Yeah, I'll make you one of those. I survived spinny rides at Disney World.
I don't know why they don't make. Well, and if they did make them, they would make them in kid sizes only. They wouldn't make them in extra large men's, I'm sure. Then in Tomorrowland, Astro Orbiter is one again. I don't think I'll even want a chance. Could you imagine me getting on there and getting sick? That
Astro Orbiter.
Yeah. What are you, like 3 stories up?
It's raining. Nope, that's Dan.
And a surprising one that I've never done, and it has nothing to do with I'm afraid of it or I get sick. It just doesn't appeal to me. I think it's I don't know why. I've done it in Disneyland. The equivalent is the Tomorrowland Speedway. I've never ridden on the Tomorrowland Speedway. It's just something I just walked by.
Right. And Disneyland's is a lot funner. I hate using that word, but it's true.
More fun, yeah.
Yeah, funner. I always say funner. I don't care.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It's Disneyland's is actually themed. Like you go four-wheeling and you go through Central Park, and it's really cute. And you really get to see Disneyland. At Walt Disney World, you just go in a big circle. And they definitely need to revamp that, but it's part of Tomorrowland and that smell, and everybody talks about the exhaust. So, but George, how about you? Oh, sorry, Stan, go ahead.
I'm assuming that, or I'm hoping that when they rebuild the track, because that track in Disney World is really chopped up right now.
Yeah.
That I'm hoping that they do something similar to what Disneyland has when they remake the track, because I think that they probably could. And then obviously Space Mountain is a no-go.
Oh, right.
That's not going to happen. And with the upcoming Tron light cycle, from what I've seen from the overseas,
yeah, that's a no.
Not going to be me.
Heck no. Nope, yeah. So basically any of the bigger attractions you just avoid.
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
Stitch's Great Escape. I know that Alien Encounter was there before, and a lot of people were afraid of Alien Encounter when it came out. Stitch's Great Escape, I knew didn't spin or anything. It was just a show. But a funny story was, for those of you who aren't familiar with Stitch's Great Escape, you get kind of strapped in to the attraction.
Right.
And there was this guy beside me who reminded me a lot of me. Like, he was his first time ever at Disney World, and he was scared of the Stitch's Great Escape track, because he thought his friends were telling him that this thing spins around really fast.
Oh no, I thought it was going to start spinning, and it stopped, and I was like, that's it? Like that.
It doesn't move at all. You don't move at all.
No, but the way they strap you in and the way the circle goes around, you really do assume that it's going to like drop or spin or move, and it just doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything.
But
he asked me, because I was beside him, he goes, is this thing this? I go, oh man, if you're afraid of spinning, you shouldn't be on this ride.
Oh, that poor guy.
That poor guy. But I had to play along. Anyways.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, my friend George, are there any of the above long list that you concur with Stan there? As far as like attractions you avoid, like which ones do you go to Magic Kingdom and you say, I just don't want to go on that? Like, and why? Like, tell our passengers if they were going to go to Walt Disney World and they had like X amount of time, which attractions would you avoid? Just going, you don't need to go on that. It's a time waster. What would you say?
Well, with no offense to Stan, I'm actually the complete opposite. I go for the biggest, the fastest, the more thrilling. That's what appeals to me. Now, of course, as how Stan is, there could be other people that, just may not like it, or, they may get sick on it. But there are some of them that actually Stan had mentioned that, to me, it's a waste of time waiting in line for. And one of them is the Tomorrowland Speedway. Aside from, nothing says more excitement than filling your lungs with pollution, But to me, I feel like you can really go anywhere to ride that type of ride. There's no set theme to it. It doesn't even really fit well with the futuristic Tomorrowland theme. If anything, when they put Tron in, with it being adjacent to it, I would love to see a more technological, futuristic look, and maybe give them a little bit more oomph on the track to give them a little more speed. I would love to see that. I would go on that. But as far as what they are now, I say in the past 15 years, probably I've been on them twice. And just to say I was on it, but that really doesn't appeal to me. When Stitch's Great Escape was there, Jess and I did it once, and it was okay. But like when you're all strapped in, as you guys were saying, you're all buckled in, you think like you're going on this wild ride, and you're just sitting there and
I like that.
Someone play with your ear.
And there's no wild ride. Yeah, you think you're gonna.
It didn't really appeal to me.
So that's one of those ones that you went on and you will never do again.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Well, not that it's closed. So they closed it down and gutted it. So.
I'm trying to think of any. I would probably say the carousel too. I mean, again, it's nice. It's a nice ride, but I'm not a big carousel type person. I'll probably go on it, if I'm waiting for a fast pass or a reservation just to, do something. But if I really didn't have to, I can go on a carousel anywhere. If I'm done at Disney and I put out a lot of money to be there to experience their unique attractions, those are the ones I'm going to go for.
Right.
And I don't understand the lines for the carousel and the Tomorrowland Speedway is always so long.
Yeah. Like
well,
I'm assuming.
Oh, go ahead, George.
No, I was just going to say, I'm assuming because I guess with little kids, that's pretty much that where parents could take them on and kind of give them a little bit of a thrill. That would be my guess. Because every time I pass there, I always see more little kids than anything. And
the fact, because let me tell you, my kids love Autopia because they can drive and they love it. I don't care. It's a car and they get to drive and the parents push the pedals and they have that little bit of 2-minute freedom to zoom around. As an adult, we're like, it's driving a car. We don't want to do it. I get it, but it's for little kids and I love going on the carousel. And I guess it's more nostalgia and the music that plays. It's just it's a good picture moment to be able to take a picture on the carousel and inside of Magic Kingdom. Is there anything else that you avoid, George? And of course the spinner rides. I don't get sick on them. I can handle them. Okay. But Magic Kingdom alone has 3 of them. Each and what of them are those? Themed. It's Dumbo, the Flying Elephant in Fantasyland, the Astro Orbiter in Tomorrowland, and the Magic Carpets of Aladdin at Adventureland. And it's basically the same type of ride system. They're just rethemed and reskinned to fit the land. And I get it that Disney tries to space rides out like that. So, if you have a young child, and they're possibly could be having a meltdown or they just want to go on a ride, that to just have one of them, you have to go all the way across to the other side of the park to do so. They kind of space it out, to give parents the opportunity to say, okay, we're here, they want to ride something. They're getting antsy. They're getting, they're tired. They want to do something. Let's take them on this. Mm-hmm. But as far as me, it's kind of a waste of time because you go up, you spin, you come down, nothing. Probably just for nostalgic purposes, I would probably do Dumbo out of the 3. Right. Now, if you believe it or not, I have done the Astro Orbiter. And when you are up there, in that rocket, believe it or not, there's more of a thrill than what a lot of people think because you're already up high to begin with, and then it goes up higher and your rocket is tilted inward as it's spinning. So you're basically, if you look anywhere but up in the sky, you're actually looking at the ground. Yeah,
that one looks really scary to me, just from the ground even. That one looks scary to me.
So if you do have young kids, I would suggest maybe not taking them on that particular one if they're too young. First, yes. If you know how they are with heights and how they are, maybe start them off with Dumbo. But that would be the last one I would take a young child on. Thank you. I'm sure our passengers appreciate that. My personal experience with Magic Kingdom, I'm going to keep it short because there's not one attraction that I would avoid there. Not one. And when we go to Magic Kingdom, we're big attraction goers. Like we just love to hop and go to attraction from attraction to attraction. And we go on it because it's there. We go on it because I can say I went on Dumbo, because I can say I went on Aladdin's magic carpet spin and let the camel spit on me. It's kind of fun, but it's nothing it's not the most grandiose attractions, but there isn't one that I would necessarily avoid. When we get to the other parks, oh heck yeah, there's some attractions I avoid, and I swear to you that I will never go on them again. But as far as Magic Kingdom goes,
I'm all for it, and I love every single attraction there. They're all nostalgia and fun, and because it's Magic Kingdom.
Now, can I ask you, Mindy, do you think you would have a different perception on that if you were to go to Disney World more often than you do at Disneyland?
Maybe. Well, no, because there's not. Hold on. If I said Disneyland, there's nothing there that I avoid. We go on. In fact, when we go to Disneyland, we literally go on every attraction while we're there, because we go for 3 days. We go to Disneyland for 3 days and sometimes 4. So we can get on every single attraction, and there's not one that we are like, nope, don't want to do it, will not do it. No, we go on everything.
So for you, when it comes to like Disneyland Park and the Magic Kingdom, it's like that whole.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Like,
all of it. Let's just go. Even if they're the kiddie rides, like we literally go on, like we go on Pinocchio, and we go on, even Dumbo, and we go ride because it's there. We're like, oh, we haven't done this yet. Oh, we haven't done that one yet. So we go check them off the list. We just go down the list and make sure we get on all the attractions at the parks. So, but there are a few that I just avoid like the plague. So we're moving on because time that took a little bit longer than we thought it would. So,
sorry,
but that's okay. Stan's list over there is like reading from a book novel, but that's okay, Stan. So if you picked a few though, Animal Kingdom. So Animal Kingdom doesn't have a ton of attractions. It's more of things to see and things to do, but not a lot of attractions. So tell me, Stan, which ones do you avoid or you've done and never will do again?
Okay, there's 4 at Animal Kingdom that I've never done and probably never will. Obviously, Expedition Everest is the top of the list.
Yeah.
That is another roller coaster. And I just want to say, if you're like me and you're with somebody who's like George, and George wants to go on the rides and you prefer not to go on the rides, you can still do the queues with him and take the Disney doesn't call it, but every Disney fan calls it the chicken exit, because a lot of the queues are fascinating to walk through. Especially of all of them, Expedition Everest is probably the best. There's so much you get to get the whole story walking through Expedition Everest. Kauai River Rapids is the second one. Same reason as Splash Mountain. It's too bumpy, it's too splashy, it's too wetty, it's too droppy. Primeval Whirl. I can't do that one. It's another coaster type thing. And Terracotta Spin, which is another spinning Dumbo type ride.
So does that take pretty much every ride out of Animal Kingdom for you?
Wait, I'm sorry, Stan. Wait, I'm sorry. What was the last thing you said?
He said
Terracotta Top Spin.
Triceratops.
Triceratops. Not terracotta. I was like, terracotta? Is that a new one? Terracotta pots? Like, we're going to plant some.
Thanks,
it's like they were theming it after like a lasagna dish.
Terracotta.
Terracotta.
I was like, what?
Terracotta Top Spin. Yeah, it's another double tape run.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom, they still have a lot of attractions. I enjoy going to A Bug's Life, the 2 Avatar attractions. I absolutely love the safari at Animal Kingdom. I could do that one 3 times and get 3 different adventures every time. Mm-hmm. The Grella Expedition Falls Trail, the Maharaji Jungle Trek. There's still plenty to do. Yeah, it's not a half-day park by any means.
Okay.
I can spend a half day just on Main Street.
Yeah, of course. There's lots of things to see. And there's the thing is, our passengers have to understand when we go to parks, you can go an entire day and not ride one attraction and just still enjoy your day and have a blast. Yeah, I think we've all done that. So, George, what about Animal Kingdom? Is there an attraction that you avoid or won't do, and why?
Majority of Animal Kingdom, it's sort of like how you are with the Magic Kingdom and Disneyland. I pretty much do everything because a lot of things are spaced out and there's not a whole lot. So to fill in that day, with attractions, if you are an attraction type person, I do everything. Now, the only one, there's actually a section that I really don't do. And 2 sections that I don't do. The first one is I like to go in Dino Land USA. I skip the Boneyard because that's more like for young kids to do like a archaeological dig and find bones and fossils and all
Or
that.
just in there digging for bones.
Yeah. And Chester and Hester's Dinorama. Now, mind you, I have done Primeval World, which is in that little mini land.
Yeah.
Passengers, if you don't know, Chester and Hester's Dinorama is like a little mini carnival style thing. I'll call it a thing. Like smack dab right in the middle of Dino Land. And for me, it doesn't fit in with the theme of Dino Land, like you're going back into the past. It just feels like this was something that was just built just to fill in some space, and it holds Primeval Whirl and Triceratops Spin. And again, a spinner ride I don't really do. The spinner
ride. A couple of carnival games that nobody plays.
Yeah.
Very seldom see anybody playing those carnival games.
If anything, people are there for Primeval Whirl. And as I said, I would go on Primeval Whirl. I mean, it has like the spinning and the drops and everything, but it's not really one that calls out to me. It doesn't like have that overall theme to say, ooh, I really want to stand in line for 45 minutes to ride.
Yeah. You know
and then the other, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to say about Dino Land, but what's your last one?
Before I do, what would you have to say about that?
Well, what I was going to say is it's kind of funny when Brandon and I, it's a short little story, guys, but Brandon and I first went to Walt Disney World and we went into Dino Land. We kind of stumbled on it. It's the first time ever there. We were using maps, that kind of person. And we get to Dino Land. We went on Chester and Hester and we loved it. I think it's fun. Caden, my son, he has autism and he loves that attraction. So we went and waited in line. But the first time we went there, I remember looking around and looking at the ground, because the ground in Dino Land, you guys, it's an old parking lot. Like there's cracks in the gravel. I mean, the lines from the painted lines are like chippy. It looks like a dump. So Disney did such a good job at doing a bad job that they made me believe that they had just avoided the park. that part of the park was like run down and just this crappy thing that they didn't even like try to keep up with. I'm like, can't they just come fix the potholes in the ground? Like, this is ridiculous, you guys.
Yeah, it's meant to look like it's a pop-up fair in your local town.
For sure. But see, we didn't understand that. And so we're there and I'm thinking, this place is such a dump. Disney needs to get on their game. And then looking back at it, I'm like, well, they did a really good job because they tricked the heck out of me. Like the theming is hilarious.
I love the overall theme of what they're trying to go about dinosaurs, but
correct. But it comes across really bad.
Yeah. It's like there's so much that they could do with that, and it's
my kids love Dino Land because they've got there's a game in the middle that you hold your water, like it's a water gun, and 10 people play around the middle of, like, there's 5 seats on each side and they say ready go, and you're supposed to like take the water gun and hit the hole, and then it fills up the whatever and you win a prize. Well, my kids, I think we dropped like $60 playing that game over and over and over. They wanted a shark. So they still have it. Both of my kids have it. They call them Sharkies. My son has an orange one and my daughter has her green one, and she's 17 and my son's 14. But they love their sharks, and they wanted a shark so bad that I ended up spending $60 to win these stupid sharks. So
and you're the only ones playing.
Yeah, exactly. So the poor guy was like, okay, take a big one. Like, they knew they wanted it, but it's kind of funny because now that's all they talk about. Like, when are we going to go? I'm going to beat you next time. We're going to play. So it's funny how everybody like avoids things, but there's things that some people don't. Now, what was your last one, George, that you're saying that you avoid?
The last one is I've only been there once. From the year 2000 up till now, I have only been there once, and it is Rafiki's Planet Watch. Okay. Now, I know that a lot of people go there.
Well, not anymore.
Kind of. A lot when it was in full.
When it was open.
That a lot of people liked going there just to kind of wind down. If you have young kids, they have a nice air-conditioned facility.
Right.
And just, to learn some facts about animals and, watching them do like the animal hospitals and how they take care of the animals and everything. I've been there one time, and if that is what appeases you and you're all for that, and not for me.
See, George, I love Rafiki's Planet Watch. I go there. I pet the goats. My favorite hat I bought there. There's usually, if you go early enough in the morning, well, it used to be they would have the operations on the animals, and you got to kind of I'd stand there for an hour just watching an operation happening.
No, this was back in the year 2000. I'm not sure how they had it set up because that was the first and only time I was there. But they had a really good character meet and greet for, at the time, some of the characters that you really couldn't see throughout the park. I met Rafiki. I met Pocahontas and Miko. And there was one more.
Jiminy Cricket?
No.
I met Jiminy Cricket there.
Chip and Dale.
It was Timon.
Dale were there. Yeah.
It was Timon.
Okay. Yeah, I met Chip and Dale and Jiminy Cricket and Rafiki and I think I've ever seen Pocahontas.
Yeah, that was a really, because I've never, it was both Pocahontas and Miko. So I thought, oh, well, especially Miko. I had to meet Miko.
Now, if you want to talk Animal Kingdom and attractions that people are afraid of, I know a lot of people are afraid to go to A Bug's Life.
If you actually sit in the front or mid-section down, it could be kind of creepy because when they do the bug spray, it's like all up in your face where you can actually gasp because of like this cool wind blowing and everything. So if you want to see the show and you don't want it to be too intense for your little ones or for yourself, sit more towards back middle.
Yeah, that's where I like to sit. Just because not so much for the less intense, I just like to watch everybody else screaming in there.
But other than that, with Animal Kingdom, I'll go on everything else: Expedition Everest, Cali River Rapids.
So here's the thing, and I'm sure I'm gonna get flamed for this, but the only attraction. The thing is, my son, he has autism, so he does what Stan was talking about. He'll go through Expedition Everest, and we use the DAS card with him, which is a Disability Access Service card, because he really, really gets anxious, and he will kind of jump, and he starts to cry. He gets really overwhelmed. And on Expedition Everest, he'll wait in line with us, and the cast members usually don't mind, but they let us go, and Caden will wait off to the side until we get off. And Caden's totally fine with that. But for a while, I had to wait to with him. He was too little just to be like, hey, stand here. He's old enough to wait. But Expedition Everest is one attraction I did one time. And it's not that I avoid it. It's just my son kind of makes it hard for us to all go on it because he will not go on that. He does not which is funny because he will not go on, and we'll talk about it. He will not go on California Screamin', but he absolutely loves Aerosmith's Rock and Roller Coaster because it's in the dark. He doesn't understand how fast it truly goes or that it goes upside down. So he got off. He's so excited that he went on it, and we'll talk about it, but he won't do Expedition Everest. And the only attraction that my family is eye roll up to the back of our head is Dinosaur. And it's not that it's scary. It's not that it's jerky. It is, sorry folks, the biggest knockoff of Indiana Jones I've ever seen. It's so sad. Guys, we went on it and we're in the dark the entire dang time. One dinosaur jumped out as we get off and look at each other. And we tried it again. We went back. We thought, okay, well, maybe we'll give it another shot. And we went on it again, and we all looked at each other no. So we just avoided it.
Have you been looking in the right sections during the right times?
Oh, yes.
Usually there's four times the Carnotaurus jumps out.
Yeah. It's just really dark. The whole thing. I'm just oh, okay, this is where we're supposed to be seeing Indiana Jones, and this is where they're supposed to be dipping down, because it's the exact same track. If passengers didn't know that, it's the same track that they took from Indiana Jones at Disneyland, and they put it in Dinosaur and just revamped the theming to it, which I get, but we just look at each other and just go, nope. And not that it's scary, we just avoid it. I know.
Now, when you all did your Disneyland versus Disney World, the Disneyland versus Disney World adventure, I don't think anyone would disagree that the Indiana Jones attraction is totally outmeasures the dinosaur attraction.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom. Yeah, that one hands down goes to Disneyland.
So we just avoid it. But those are the only attractions that we really avoid. And my son avoids Expedition Everest. Not all of us, but because I have to stay with him or my husband and he has a DAS card, he just won't do it. He won't. He cries and it's just really sad. So we've tried to bribe him. It's not a pleasant sight. So I apologize, guys. If you're there with my son, he will throw a tantrum and not in the best ways. And it's because he has autism. So we love him. He's the best. Anyway, moving on to our Epcot. Epcot has some interesting attractions, some coming very soon, some new ones. But are there any that we avoid or won't go on?
Yeah, of course there is.
Of course there is for Stan.
I think of all attractions, the one that I hands down refuse to ever try would be the Mission Space Orange.
Oh, well, duh.
There is
I forgot
no
about
way
that.
I'm going on that. Yeah, that's a no-no. Test track I've never been on, but I'd give it a go. Have you
done the you did it. We all did it together. The
Cars Land?
Cars Land.
Yeah, I've done Cars Land, and I could do test track. I just never have tried it. I just never bothered.
You should. It's super fun. It's actually my son's favorite attraction of any park, of any coast, of anything. He just talks about test track all the time.
Cars Land does have that little bit of a bumpy up and down part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my limit. If there was one more hill, I might have lost it.
One more hill.
Yes, it was just the right amount of hills where I'd stand and lose it on it. And then when Guardians of the Galaxy opens up, of course, I won't be going on that one, but I'll walk the queue. And World Showcase, there's nothing in there. I'm able to see every movie. And Soaring was one that I was really, really nervous on the first time I went. I closed my eyes. Yeah, I'm okay on it. I love Soaring. Soaring's like my second favorite
Which
attraction.
is so weird, Stan, because that is such a motion movie. Like, that is so bizarre that you can do that and not Star Tours.
Yeah, and the first time I went on Soarin', I closed my eyes for about 90% of it.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and every time I go on, I kept my eyes open a little bit more, and now I just absolutely love it. It's like my favorite attraction.
That's so good. I'm glad to hear that. What about you, George? Is there anything at Epcot that you avoid?
Yes. One, I'll probably get some heat with.
That's all right.
Passengers.
We all will.
Yeah.
I won't.
Not that it's a bad ride.
Stan is safe.
Yeah. Not that it's a bad ride, but I don't have any enthusiasm in waiting in line for Test Track anymore.
Really?
I really don't.
Is it because they changed it?
It's a combination of the two. Yes, I don't like the newer version. I prefer
the Crash Dummies.
I actually prefer the original of what it stands for. Actually, of what is in Test Track now, I would love to see something over near Tron in Tomorrow.
Yeah,
that to me would make more sense. And after riding Radiator Springs Racers, there's no comparison for me.
Oh, for sure.
I love the overall theming of how you actually go into the story of Cars and with all the characters. And those audio animatronics, they're spot on for how big and massive and the way that they move and talk. It's like literally taking them out of the computer and putting them in real time.
Right.
So in comparison, it just falls a little flat for me.
Yeah. Well, we went on like I said, my son is that he talks about it all the time. My son is going through Disney depression right now, you guys, so bad that he is literally in his room as we speak, and he's watching our Disney Cruise Line home videos, and he will come out and he'll be like, Mom, do you remember that time? Oh my gosh, do you remember that time? And it's of Walt Disney World first, and he just sits there and he'll pause it and rewind it. And he has watched the Epcot part of it when we went on Test Track, I swear to you, like 50 times. He loves that attraction. And a short story, what happened is because he loves it so much and we won't avoid it, we went there and it was rainy, and it's not open when it rains, right? Mm-hmm. So we get there, we have fast passes, and we have a DAS card. So that's a little bit different than having fast passes. So we go in, we get our turn, we're going through the queue, and we design our car, and they shut it down because it started to rain.
Oh, no.
We got that far. I mean, had like autism, and telling a kid like that is bound to explode. So he was really sad. Like, Caden, he has meltdowns and he has sad. Like, these were crocodile tears. Like, he was 3 years he'd looked forward to this. So they scoot us all out and they're like, gave us return times. They're like, come back. Well, because we had a DAS card, it didn't work the same. So they just took us and it stopped raining and we came back and they took us around the back and literally walked us to the front and said, here you go. So Caden has a little respect for it. And so we don't avoid that one at all. It's kind of his attraction, but I understand, George, if you compare it to, Radiator Springs.
And it's funny with Test Track. It's not one that I could say I would absolutely avoid. Like, I would still ride it. I still get a great throw out of it. But I mean, if I happen to miss it, I wouldn't be too terribly upset.
Okay. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. And I think we all have attractions like that, but that's just one that we have to go on.
And the other one is Mission Space. Now, I can handle it. I really can. I will say it is very intense, and passengers, if you happen to go on it, do not apply sunblock on your face right before riding.
Why?
Because what happens, the intensity of it pulling, it will actually, even if it's embedded into your skin, it will literally draw out of your pores and run into your eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm definitely not going on this.
Oh, that's a heck no. And I don't want to swear because we have passengers. But here's the thing. I avoid that attraction with every fiber of my body because my husband's like, oh, just give it one more shot. Just go on it one more time. And I'm telling you, like, this is a funny thing. I almost threw up. Like, I swear to you, that attraction I was on, and I do good. I'm not like Stan where I like get queasy, but this one, I was like, where's my barf bag? I'm going to throw up. When is this over? When is this over? I was counting down and I was trying to scream, like, turn it off, you guys, please stop the ride. Like, I was starting to cry, and I don't do that a lot. There's only one other attraction, and it's at Disney California Adventure that I've ever cried, like, please get me off, I'm terrified. And it happens to be Mission Space. Nope. So
for me, with Mission Space, it's sort of kind of minus the intensity. For me, it's like Stitch's Great Escape.
Oh,
like,
what?
You have, well, I mean, like, in the sense where after that. After that
Great Escape, you compare that ride to Mission Space? What the heck?
In the sense of after that last.
George, I don't recall getting the sunscreen removed from my pores at all.
Let me explain if I could get it out, and I can't.
Please explain, because that is the biggest oxymoron I've ever heard in my life. So my son went on it, and he was like, we asked him, he went on that. He had no clue what it was. And Caden gets off, and he's like, meh, it was all right. So I guess he's there with you.
So aside from the intense part, because there is also another version, I think it's the green version. Yeah.
So what does that one do? Explain to me.
That one is literally.
I might try that next time.
There's just no intense. It's just you watching a screen and pressing buttons.
Oh, it doesn't.
But that's where the comparison of Stitch's Great Escape is. To me, it's not a ride. You're just sitting there watching a screen, and it's like you're in a hyper chamber and you're frozen for how long, and then you got to defroth yourself, and then it's like. Wait, did I say defrost? Not defrost.
You're using Star Wars language. I'm like,
so
anyway, that's funny.
It's just not up to the hype of what it was. Like when it first came out, they said it was the most adrenaline rush type of attraction that Disney ever created. And then it's like now it's like, It's what your son said. It's like,
Yeah.
For me, it's just like I can handle it, but it's not my cup of tea.
Okay. So passengers, apparently Mission Space is comparative to Stitch's Great Escape. Just FYI. So take your barf bags, just letting you know. One you will throw up on, one you will get off and go, meh. Just letting you know. So we're running out of time, so let's move on to Hollywood Studios. Let's kind of go with the one attraction so we can get through the rest of them because we're only halfway done. So we're going to have to speed things along. What's one attraction that you maybe have done, won't do again, or just avoid at all costs, and why?
Well, I'll go really quick.
Okay.
I've done Star Wars once. I'm probably never going to do it again unless they can get it so it doesn't move. It just moves too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slinky Dog Dash, I was excited when it came out. I thought, okay, I could probably ride this. I took a look at it and went, nope.
Really?
And Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, there's no way I'm going on that one. I can't handle drops. And Rock and Roller Coaster is a roller coaster. So, no, I'm not going on that one either. Those are my 4 for Hollywood Studios really quick.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But Slinky Dog, I've never been on it because I haven't been to Toy Story Land yet. But what about it is scary? Or is there
Seven
a drop?
Dwarfs is fast enough. Like Seven Dwarfs is like the fastest I would probably go on a roller coaster.
Okay.
And Slinky Dog's a little bit more intense than that. I think it's a little bit more intense than Seven Dwarfs.
There is a launch in Slinky Dog. It's not as intense as the Incredicoaster or Rock and Roller Coaster, but I mean, for a perspective of a mile done, but I mean that launch, if you're sitting in the back by Slinky's butt, it definitely picks up speed. And then that big arch, once you zoom up, you go through this big arch where you could see Galaxy's Edge, and then you shoot down. So if you're in the back, you really feel it.
Yeah, I watched the TMR 360 video of it, and that's what kind of made up my mind is that someone else can have my seat. It's not that important to me that I go on. It really isn't.
Not to, I guess what you're saying is not to take the chance of you being sick for the rest of the day and ruining your day. Because it kind of sounds like that's what would happen in your situation. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Passengers, if you do have motion sickness issues, definitely reach out to Stan because I'm sure he could help you if your do's and don'ts. And that sounds like one to avoid. But how about you, George? What do you avoid at Hollywood Studios?
For me, it's not necessarily that I would avoid that I think it's a complete horrible ride, but just compared to all that's there, it's my least one that I would go on, and it would be Alien Swirling Saucers. I've been on
I love that one.
What is that? One. Wait.
Why
am I not knowing what that is? What is it? Remind me.
It's in Toy Story Land. It's right next to
Oh, that's why. Okay.
And it's sort of like a
Mater's Junkyard.
Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, but it has like with the aliens, and it plays like a retro style music from the Toy Story movies.
So it's kind of like Mater's then.
Yeah, it's the exact same ride system as Mater's.
It's nice. I would still go on it, but it's not something that I would literally take the time and stand in line for. I wanted to do it just because the land was new at the time. We were down there for Toy Story Land. I think it was like a month or 2 after it opened. And, we just did it just for the experience. But out of everything that's there, that would be the least, in my opinion. And then the other one would be, and believe it or not, I would still go on it because it's like a 10, 15-minute walk-on nowadays, for me at least, is Star Tours. And the reason why is I love the ride, but compared to Flight of Passage, it's not as intense for me. It just, for me, it feels like I'm just watching a screen and it's really not moving. Unless you're actually in the back. If you're anywhere in the middle front or the very first row, you really don't move as much.
Yeah.
I was in the front row closest to the exit because I told the cast member going on that I do get motion sickness easy, and I want to be in a spot where it's less likely to happen. The cast member said, yes, same here. I want you in a spot where it's less likely to happen.
And here's a barf bag.
So I'm
Bless
surprised they
your
didn't give
heart.
me one. So anyways, I went on the attraction, and partway through, it jerks around a lot, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And partway through, I was starting to get a little bit nervous, and my daughter was with me, and I told her beforehand that you may have to undo my seatbelt because I might have a handful.
Oh, jeez.
So I was able to undo myself. I was fine. I got out. We got into Star Traders once you leave. I started looking around, but then the crowd kind of came behind us because we were the closest to the exit. The crowd kind of came around us and sort of surrounded me. I just started sweating, like extreme amount of sweat, and I felt extremely uncomfortable. I went outside. I couldn't stop sweating. I poured a bottle of water down my back, and I was just shaking already. And then my daughter had another bottle of water. We poured another bottle of water down my back. I had to lie down for a little bit. Probably about 10 minutes. I was lying just on a bench, right near Star Tours. And after a while, it kind of passed, and I was okay for the rest of the day. But it was scary there. And my daughter this was our first trip, and she was scared because she had no idea what to do. We're alone, and she was young. She didn't know how to take care of me, how to get back to our room or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Well, at Hollywood Studios, I don't think there's anything that we avoid there either. That's just a go with the flow. My son even loves Rock and Roller Coaster because it's in the dark. Like I said, he doesn't even know how fast it goes. And now it's being changed from what I've heard. They're retheming it. So we shall see what happens. Who wants to guess what it's going to be? I don't know. That's a whole different show. But yeah, I think all the attractions there we've gone on. My favorite one isn't even an attraction. It's the Walt Disney's Dreams. What's it called? It's a walkthrough about Walt Disney. Yes, I love it. That's my favorite. It brings tears to my eyes. So moving to the west side, let's talk Disneyland. Obviously, I have nothing that I would avoid there. We've been on everything, and we go on everything. So
to save time for me, honestly, as far as Disneyland goes,
mm-hmm.
I pretty much would ride anything aside from Autopia. Everything else,
Why not Autopia? Tell us why. If you're saying that's what you avoid.
Again, just like at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, it just, even though it has a little more theme to it, but it's just the type of ride, it just doesn't appeal to me.
Okay.
It just doesn't call to me. But everything else, I love more of Disneyland's attractions overall.
So what about your son? Does he like going on it and you end up going on Autopia, or is it just something your family completely avoids?
He's been on it once, I believe. I think my wife took him on one time, and I think he actually had more appeal to the carousel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How about you, Stan? What's at Disneyland that you avoid? I know it's kind of more like Magic Kingdom, right?
Yeah,
like
so the ones that are the
Splash
same as Magic. Yeah, Splash Mountain, the Dumbo, those are all the same.
Tours.
Now, one that I haven't done at Disneyland that I want to do, but every time I go there, it's not running, is
What's
the Davy
that?
Crockett Explorer canoes.
Oh, yeah. That will,
It's never
to be
running.
honest, well, you know what? Scratch that. I kind of avoid that. Been there, done that. It's meh. They get mad at you when you don't row your boat, if you will.
I'd like to try that one. I've never got a chance to try it. And of course, the Matterhorn is.
If you want to go, if you want to go work out in the summertime and go to Disneyland and get all hot and sweaty rowing a boat, sure, go do it by all means, because that's what happens. Just hot and sweaty. It's open during the summertime more so than any other time, and very, very busy parts of the year. But you're right, it's closed a lot.
Yeah, I've only been in December, so.
Yeah.
Maybe this August or this September. August.
It will be open in August for sure.
Yeah, let's all go. We're all going. Down on the Davy Crockett canoe. Then all the other usual ones that I pretty much mentioned. Another one I've never tried, but I have no problem doing is King Arthur's Carousel.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to do that. The Gadgets Go Coaster, I've never even seen. I never made it that far back into the park.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
No?
Definitely no.
Okay.
If you can't do like Slinky Dog or those,
Yeah.
it's got a kick to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
It's little.
I'll skip that one.
But it's got a kick. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'll skip that one then. But
And avoid.
yeah, other than that, it'll be the same as Disneyland.
Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin.
I've done that. I've really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
You just shocked the heck out of me. Okay, so let's move on.
I like that one.
Across the way, because that's all it is, just 100 steps away, is Disney California Adventure. And what do you avoid the most at that park, and why? Stan?
Okay. Hey, I'll go through. There's a couple I've never done that I want to do next trip. The red car trolley. I didn't even know that was there when I've been. I've only been once. The Grizzly River Run I wouldn't do anyways. The Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. I didn't even know that was there. I was researching this show how I found out about that one. Is it as good as it sounds?
It's a kiddie place. It's really a big playground. It's just a big playground. It looks like the California redwoods, and you go in and there's slides in there and there's swings, and it's really, really quiet. There's lots of like I don't know, forest sounds pumping through the speakers. It's really relaxing if you ever want to just go and unwind. They have like benches in there. They used to have an up show where you could go see and just become a wilderness explorer, but they don't have that in there. But it's really cute. It's more for kids to go in and play. You remember what it was at Hollywood Studios? It was like the Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, okay. It's like
area.
that. Oh, okay.
It's like that, but countrified / redwood trees.
Well, the way I read the description, it was like rock climbing walls and
there are rock climbing walls there, but it's really like a big playground for kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other one I never even heard of until I did the research for this episode was the bakery tour at Pacific Wharf. That sounds like something I want to do.
You would love that because at the end at the end they give you a piece of bread or a tortilla. It's so fun.
Yeah, I know. I was reading the description on it. I'm like, hey, I want to do that one.
Free food. No, it is really cool. There's like, I don't want to say it's like watching the Ellen thing, but it kind of like you go in and you see Rosie O'Donnell and she does this video thing, and then they move you through this bakery, and you get to come out and you learn how they make the stuff, and you watch the bakers and they're actually baking the bread, and it just moves you through the whole thing, and you get out and they give you a piece of bread or a tortilla, whatever they were cooking that day, hot off the press, fresh.
I'm trying that one. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, I'm obviously not going to do, but I do have to ask, is the queue something, is it worth it to me to go do the queue and then do the chicken exit?
Absolutely. Yeah. You would be geeking out over it because it's really cool. It has all the like the lost things or the stuff that he collects. The collector's room is what it's called.
The collector
all the collector things. The dog from the dogs in there from
Russia, from the Sputnik. Well, not from the Sputnik. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, yeah.
All kinds of cool stuff to see.
Little cute area where Rocket falls out of the vent and he explains what you have to do and everything. And there's a lot of artifacts in there as well.
Sure. I would even get through to the point where you go into the room and then before you go get on the attraction in the boiler room, like take the exit in there.
So as long as I don't sit down, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Correct. But it's really cool.
In Mindy, I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you actually go into where the boiler room is before you get onto the elevator, if as you're coming to where I like to call it the fork in the road, where you can either go straight or you can go, if you look down, you can see the old audio animatronic of the Yeti that used to be in the Matterhorn.
Yes. And they have a really cool amount of Easter eggs. Look it up, Stan. You will love it. Look up that attraction and look at the Easter eggs inside of the room where Rocket where they show the video and Rocket's in there, and look in the boiler room. There's still a part where you can knock on the wall and you hear a little girl screaming through it. It's still in there. You can hear it. It's very faint. There's a lot of hidden Mickeys and really cool things to see. So
yeah, see, that's what I like. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah, lots of hidden Mickeys, lots of fun things, lots of Easter eggs to see in the collector's room. Definitely worth a walkthrough just to check it out, and then take your exit and not go on the attraction.
Now, on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios, when you take the chicken exit, they have you go into an elevator to get off. And I'm like, I don't want to do the elevator. That's what I'm avoiding.
I don't know about that just because I haven't ever done it, but I know there's an exit there. So thank you for that. So how about you, George? We've got to wrap up here, but quickly, what would you not do at DCA?
The attractions that I wouldn't do for me is the jumping jellyfish over Paradise Park. I mean, that's like something for young kids, but I mean adults can do that one either. But me, I'd rather go on Mission Breakout. What is it called? The planes that go around. It's right next to the Silly Symphony swings.
The Golden Zephyr.
Yeah, those. Yeah, To me, I do enjoy the Silly Symphony swings, but I've never even been on them. They don't really appease to me. You just sit in a ship and you go around. Yeah, and then the last one that is not really like the other two. I would go on it, but it's something that I wouldn't take the time to say, okay, I'm going to literally walk over to it and go on it. Is Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue.
Okay.
It's a nice ride on. As I said, there's nothing really bad about it, but out of everything there, that would be the last thing on my list.
Right. Kind of avoid for time's sake if there's other things you could go on. I agree. Now, the only attraction that I ever avoid, and I mean, I would scream bloody murder before I ever get on it again. I will do the ones that sit still, but I will not do the swinging buckets.
Pixar Pal Around.
The Wheel of Terror.
It's Pixar Pal Around.
I call it Mickey's Hell Wheel. It's not Mickey's Fun Wheel. Yeah, it's Pixar Pal Around now, but it's Mickey's Hell Wheel. And the last time and the only time I went on it.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. Before now, you could call it Pixar's Hell Around.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, I love it. Okay, yes, you're right. Pixar's Hell Around. Because I will not. The last time I went on it, I was clutching onto the side of the cage, literally tears coming out of my eyes. I was having a panic attack, and I was screaming bloody murder to let me off. And I was a grown adult. So let's just say I will not go on the swinging buckets at all. Ever. Nope, not me.
Yeah, no, but I'll watch from the safe ground.
Other than that, we love our Disney California Adventure, and I hope, passengers, that helped you in a little bit of a way to let you know what you could or should avoid at the parks. And thank you for letting me be your tour guide this week, and I hope you all have a magical day. And with that, Ken, take it away.
If you would like to keep the adventure going after the show, be sure to like our Facebook friends page, Grand Circle Tour Magical Ticket Holders. While on Facebook, like our group page, Grand Circle Tour. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Grand Circle Tour Podcast, as well as Instagram, GCT Podcast, and our YouTube channel, Grand Circle Tour. If you would like to send us a message, you can email us at gctpodcast@gmail.com. T-shirts and other fun merchandise can be found at tpublic.com. Simply search Grand Circle Tour Podcast. If you enjoyed your adventure, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Only one rule, make it good. Thank you for riding with us, and welcome home.